Hey guys, I'm going to be making another video today. It's going to be of rule 6, 7, and 8 in the grammar packet you guys got. So we're going to start on page 23, which looks like this one. If you guys have any questions about the grammar packet, again, feel free to reach out to me over email, comment on this video, or you can wait until I go live today, Wednesday the 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. I think the grammar packets, because they have a lot of examples, are pretty easy. I'm only going to give you guys a couple examples from each page, and then you guys can work on your own for the rest of them. So if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to me. You don't have to do these completely on your own if I didn't give you an answer or an example from one of them. So we're going to start on page 23, which is rule 6. It goes over action, linking, and helping verbs. So an action verb tells what the subject is doing. So we played until it was dark. Everyone laughed at the funny movie. Linking verbs link a subject to a noun or an adjective that describes or that names or describes it. So the dog is a St. Bernard. Is links dog and St. Bernard. The buttered popcorn smells delicious. Smells links popcorn to delicious. And then helping verbs come before the main verb. Helping verbs help state the action or show time. Arnold will paint the door tomorrow. Will kind of tells you that it'll happen in the future. And then he has been painting the frame today. That kind of also tells you the state of the action. That means he's been doing that now in the present. So then we are going to move on to page 24, which is identifying verb types. This is a little confusing because you have to keep 3 different verb types straight. If it's easier for you guys, you can underline, circle, do whatever you want, and then write above the word what type of verb it is. Or you can follow directions, which says circle all the action verbs in the sentences, underline all the linking verbs, and draw a box around all the helping verbs. So I will do 4 examples for you guys. We will do number 1. Mrs. Baker is 42 years old. You would underline is because it is a linking verb, and that is an example of one of the linking verbs on page 23. I think I said this in the other videos, but I think it's really useful to keep, sorry, my dog's in here, keep these example sheets out with you when you go through and work on the worksheet. So why don't we do number 3. She has been working there for 20 years. So I boxed has been because box is a helping verb. And then I circled working because working is an action verb. It tells you what she is doing. Then why don't we jump down to number 7. He is employed at a school library. Is, again, is underlined because it's a linking verb. And then employed, I put a circle around because it is an action verb. That's the thing he's doing. And then we'll do number 12. Then he and Mrs. Baker will travel around the country. I circled travel because that is what they're doing around the country. If you guys have any questions on the other ones I didn't go over, again, you can ask questions. That's totally fine. Moving on to page 25. So linking or action verb. This one can be kind of tricky because some of the same words, depending on how they're used, can be an action or a linking one. So I'm going to do 1 and I'll do 1 and 5. So Bill feels uncomfortable giving speeches. This is linking because it links how he feels to the speeches. Martha feels the fur of her new bunny. This is in action because she is feeling the fur of her bunny. And then I said I would do number 5. It grew quiet in the house after the kids went to bed. This is linking because it links grew to the house. And then Samantha grew 2 inches last summer. That's an action because Samantha is growing. It's what she's doing. So then subject verb agreement. You guys, because there's so many on here, I decided you guys only have to do the odds because some of these are really repetitive. So you guys only have to do, there's 15 on here, so that breaks it down to you guys have to do like 7 of them. I will do some of the evens though for you. So I'll do number 4. So Aunt Mary either bring or Aunt Mary brings the hot rolls. I circled brings. If we do number 6, my cousin Tony always gives me his cranberry sauce, or my cousin Tony always give me his cranberry sauce. I circled gives for that. And then we'll do number 12. I always plays cards with my aunts and uncles, or I always play cards with my aunts and uncles. I circled play. This one for the subject verb agreement page, just read it out loud to yourself. That's how I got through a lot of these. I didn't focus as much on the example sheet. I just went through and read it out loud to myself, and you can usually hear, like sometimes it just sounds like it makes more sense when you read it out loud. Okay, we are going to jump to Rule 7, which is on page 27. So the tense of verbs tells when an action occurs, present, past, or future. So present, the action is happening now. Past, the action already happened. Or future, the action is going to happen. For the future ones, almost all examples of future start with will. So she will do, she will give, she will have. Keep that in mind as you're going through this. So for the for when did it happen, Rule 7, page 28. It says underline the verb or verb phrase in each sentence below. Write the tense of the underlined verb on that line. I'm going to do the first or the top half of this page if you guys want to do the second half. So A.A. Milne lived from 1882 until 1956. That would be past because lived has an ed at the end. Plus, if you just look at the dates, you would know it was in the past because 1956 is past. He was an author of plays, essays, and short stories, and adult and children's fiction. I underlined was because that is the verb, and I put past because it tells us he was an author before he passed away. Milne is remembered for his characterization of Winnie the Pooh. I put present because is something we do now. We do remember him at this moment for the characterization of Winnie the Pooh. Number 4, Pooh and his friends Tigger, Eeyore, and Piglet are loved by children and adults alike. This one is a little tricky because it has the ed at the end of loved. I put present though because you can love it right now. I would take present or past though because if you look at it, it could be maybe someone who has already passed away loved Eeyore, Piglet, and Tigger. So I would take present or past for that. Number 5, Winnie the Pooh stories are classics. I put present because we think they're classics now. I underlined are for that. For number 6, they will continue to be popular in the future. I underlined will continue and then put future because it used the word will. So you guys will have to do 1 through 6 on the bottom half of that page. So for tense writing, page 29, it says use context clues to help you select the correct verb tense in these sentences. So again, I'll do the top half if you guys want to do the bottom half. So it says Mr. Parker worked or works in a bank for 40 years before he retired last month. I circled worked because it said if he retired last month, then it's something that happened in the past. Now he hopes or will hope to catch up on his woodworking project. I put hopes because it sounds like something that's happening currently, not something that'll happen in the future. He has or will have always liked to build furniture. I circled has because it sounds like it's something he liked to do for a long time, as opposed to something he will like in the future. For his son's birthday in 3 months, he hopes or hoped to have a bookshelf built. Because it says 3 months, I circled hopes because this is something that will take place in the future. He built his son a desk for his last birthday. I put built, it's past tense because of his last birthday. And number 6, he will have more time to work on this year's gift since he has or since he had retired. I circled has for this because he recently retired. You guys can do the bottom 6 on page 29. Okay, so this page 30, page 30, rule 7, can be a little confusing. You have to first underline all the verbs in the paragraph, the 3 paragraphs that are in this section. And then you need to write above or below. I wrote mine below because I had more room. Whether it is P for past, PR for present, or F for future. I'm only going to do the first paragraph with you guys. Don't get hung up on making sure that you underline all the verbs. As long as you have majority of them, it's fine. If you miss 1 or 2, you won't miss any, major points. But if you only turn this in with 1 verb underlined, you're going to lose points for it. So Thomas loves to play the piano. I underline loves and I underline play. And these are both present tense. He took his first lesson at the age of 5. I underlined took, and that was past because he was 5. He practices for an hour each day. I underlined practices. This is present because it's something he does now and every day. He especially likes to play classical music. I underlined play and put present because it's something, again, that he does now. He first heard classical music when he began his lessons. I underlined heard and put that as past because it's past tense. At a concert tomorrow night, he will play his favorite piece, Mozart's Allegro. I underlined will play and put future because this is something that hasn't happened yet. The audience will enjoy the concert because Thomas is an excellent pianist. So I underlined will enjoy because, again, it's something that hasn't happened yet. So that is all for Rule 7. Moving on to Rule 8. For Rule 8, we are looking at endings are added to verbs to change the tense. So you have present tense, which usually just adds an S, ES, IES. Past, you add an ED or drop the Y, add I, and then ED. Or future, which uses words like will or shall. Then you have irregular verbs at the bottom of the page that go along with the irregular stuff we did before. This is when your entire word changes. So instead of sing, you do sang. Instead of say, you do said. Instead of buy, you put bought. Those are just a couple examples. I like to think of irregular verbs of when you can't change the word you currently have. You have to just rewrite a new word. So page 32, regular verb tense changes. Rules for changing the tense of verbs are listed below. After each verb is an example. Provide one example that follows each rule. So did I do this right? I don't feel like I did this right. I know it gives you an example. I did do it right. It's fine. It gives you an example, and then you have to create your own example. So I'm only going to do one for present, one for past, and then I guess I will do the single one for future. So I'll do number 1 for present tense. Adds S to most verbs. The example that they give you sits. I put jumps. You can use whatever verb you want. Why don't we do number 5 for past tense rules. Change the Y to I and add ED to verbs ending in Y. The example that they put was married because the original word is marry. I did carried because the original word is carry. And then use the main verb with will or shall. For future tense rule, will sing, I put will run. Again, for this, you don't have to do complete sentences. You can just put the verb or verb phrase. So moving on to page 33, which is regular or irregular. I will do 4 on this page for you guys. I'll do 2 irregular and 2 regular. So I'll do number 1. Ride is changed to rode, which makes it irregular because you have to completely change the word. You can't put rided, so it makes it irregular. Let's do number 2, for hit. Hit stays the exact same, so I put regular. If we do 8, fan turns into fanned, like you're like fanning something, so that is regular. If you go to number 12, tell becomes told, and because you're changing the entire word, it is irregular. And then the last page for what we're going to go over today is page 34, which is complete the story. I will go over 1 present, 1 past, and 1 future. So it looks like I'm going to do the first 3 blanks of the story. And then you guys will have to fill in the other 5 or 6 blanks that are left in the story. This is kind of tricky. It gives you the verb first, and then it tells you what tense you need to change it to. Just FYI, not all of the verbs they give you need to be changed, so don't feel like you have to change every single one. So Hank Aaron is present, a name you find future in a list of baseball's Hall of Famers. So the first blank is stays as is because it's a present tense verb. A name you find is supposed to be future, so I put will find in a list of baseball's Hall of Famers. Hank was nicknamed past, the hammer because of his skill at batting. He was nicknamed. You would put ed at the end of nicknamed because it's something that happened in the past. So that is what I'm going to go over today. I'm hoping on Monday I will post Rule 9, 10, and 11, and then that'll be the rest of the grammar packet stuff. I posted grammar rules 4 and 5 in the Google Classroom because I went over them in one of the 6th grade videos I did. So if you do have any questions about that, go back to, I think, the 6th grade video that was on the 20th and the 23rd. You will have to fast forward through part of the clip because I didn't start off with the grammar rules. I did that at the end. But also, if you guys have any questions about this, again, email me, comment on this. Wait till we go live tonight. It's up to you guys. But I feel like if you guys do about 3 rules a week, it's pretty easy. I did this whole packet in a day. But if you have questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys tonight.